Okay, so in this video we're going to run this 2012 Nissan Leaf through its paces. We're going to see if a 12-year-old electric vehicle is still suitable for daily driving, and I do quite a bit of daily driving, so let's take a look and see how it's going to fare this week, and we'll report on the kilometers used and all the different information on it throughout the week. All right, so we're starting out with this vehicle here, the 2012 Nissan Leaf. So it's got 158,000 kilometers on it right now. And what we're going to do is reset that trip A odometer here. So we'll just do the reset button there down to 0. So that'll be the way we're going to keep track of our mileage throughout the week. So I'm starting on Sunday. I've got a few errands to run today. And then on Monday, we'll head out for our daily regular driving. So we'll do a few updates throughout the week and see how we're going. So follow me. Okay, Sunday we're ending the day with only 18.8 kilometers used, so not very far, but Monday will be a regular work day, so we'll keep on tracking it then. Okay, we'll see you next day. End of day one, we're at 135.2 kilometers total. And I say day one, actually yesterday was Sunday, was day one. Today is Monday, day two. And we did go to work and then recharge at work and then come back home and do a bunch of errands, and we still got some charge left at 135, so we did about 118 kilometers today. All right, that's Monday. Let's see what happens on Tuesday. Okay, end of day 3, which is Tuesday. We're up to 268.2 kilometers for the week, which is about another 133 kilometers today. And again, I did recharge at work, so it allowed me to extend the range of the vehicle. But that's where we are at the end of day 3, so far so good. Okay, end of day 4. Actually, I did forget to record a video at the end of day 4, so this is the beginning of day 5. So I haven't driven anywhere yet today, so this is the kilometers we did at the end, by the end of Wednesday, day 4. So we did brought it up to 365. I think that means it's another 97 kilometers, which is a fairly average number for the day. So we'll start up on day 5 here, but since I happen to have the full charge right now, you can see on the far right hand side over here where it has this range remaining guess of 80 kilometers, and that number has been jumping around wildly on me all week, depending on when I charge the car up. I have a separate video on my channel about why I ignore the estimated range remaining charge number, because it jumps all over the place. So this week I've seen as high as 92 and as low as 65, and anything in between. It happens to be 80 right now. You know, if I put it into drive, it's still going to show 80, but watch here. If I switch it to eco mode, which is 88, which I guess is trying to guess. I have the air conditioning on now, so it'll probably switch if I adjust that. But anyway, that's where we are at the end of day 4 / beginning of day 5, and let's keep on going. Okay, it's the end of day 5. Actually, day 5 passed. That was yesterday, Thursday. Now it's day 6, Friday morning. And just for fun, after I was thinking about gaming that guessometer, the range remaining meter, in yesterday's video, I thought, well, let's see how I can make the number go today. So yesterday, before the end of the day, I drove very cautiously and slowly, and look at the number we've got today. Remember, yesterday it was around 100, and this morning, yesterday it was around 80. Now it's around 100, and it's simply because of me playing with the system and gaming it so that it thinks that it has a lot more range than it does. We normally wouldn't be able to get 100 kilometers out of this car, 62 miles. You might be able to if you drove really slowly, but the reality is it's not a realistic number. And you can see here I put it into eco mode, so it shows me 100, but if I change that and put it into just regular drive, it's going to switch it down to 91. So that's just an example of how you can game the system. Oh, went down to 98 now. I think it's paying attention to us because we're not driving anywhere, but you're using some power. In addition to that, I just did forget to recap day 5. So it looks like we did do over 100 kilometers again, or more than 65 miles. So day 6 now is where we're starting. So let's see how it goes. Okay, end of day 5, actually beginning of day 6 already. It's I didn't go to work on Friday, day 6, and so we didn't drive very many kilometers. But anyway, so for the full week, we've done 495.1, and yeah, so we've driven almost 500 kilometers, which is around 300 miles for the week. So then the question is a 12-year-old electric vehicle still suitable for daily driving? So I've spent the week with the vehicle, driving it every day, recharging it every night, and also I have the ability to recharge at work as well. And I drove it or just under 500 kilometers, or around 300 miles. And for that daily, regular routine driving back and forth to work and doing the various errands throughout the day, on my regular routine, it really seems quite suitable for that. Of course, if a person said, well, it can't do road trips, I would have to agree with them. It doesn't do road trips conveniently anyway. It just doesn't have the range for that. Also, if you want to take that longer trip out of town, for whatever reason, it's not suitable for that either. But for this regular routine driving back and forth, it did me pretty well. And I know for a lot of the footage there, I've got me driving on highways. Actually, I do live outside of a city, but I'm kind of close, so I consider myself still an urban commuter. A chunk of my driving is urban, and a chunk of it is highway. So even if you're living close to a city, this vehicle could potentially be suitable for a person as well. But for sure, for a person living inside of a city who's commuting less than 40 miles or 65 kilometers per day, this vehicle would certainly work for them. And if you have the ability to charge up at work like I do, even on just a regular 110 or 120 volt outlet or level 1 charging, that will also allow you to extend your range significantly, because that 8 hours you spend at work, you'll be able to get back quite a bit of your charge if that option is available for you. It's hard to believe 12 years ago this vehicle was between somewhere in the $40,000 to $50,000 range, and now you can buy one for between $5,000 and $10,000 depending on condition and mileage and that sort of thing. And some of them are even cheaper than that, depending on if they're damaged or have some body damage or rust or something along those lines. So purely for the commuting activity, it's great. And then if we think of the idea of range anxiety, really after you've driven this vehicle a couple of days, 2 or 3 days on your regular routine, the idea of range anxiety will just simply disappear, because there's not going to be any unexpected driving being done. At that point, you're still doing your regular routine, and the vehicle, even with its diminished range, is still able to achieve the distance that you want it to go. So with the lower purchase price on a used electric vehicle, and then the lower refueling costs, this one's probably going to run about 1 to 2 to 3 cents per mile or per kilometer, depending on your electricity costs in your local region. You compare that to your gasoline costs. For me, that's between 10 and 20 cents per liter. It's definitely a lot cheaper to operate this vehicle. There's also the question of the battery itself. Being that it's a 12-year-old vehicle, the battery is well past its warranty, and that might be a concern if you spend significant amount of money on the vehicle. But once you get to that $5,000 to $10,000 vehicle, if it lasts you for a few years, and then you get some sort of catastrophic failure with the vehicle, similar to a gas vehicle, if you had an old 12-year-old vehicle, you drove it for a few years, there's a small chance that the engine might blow or need replacing. That would cost several $1,000s, and at that point you might just sell it for scrap. Similar to a vehicle like this, after it's gone through 15 years, 17 years, we have never driven them that long yet because they haven't been around that long. But if they are getting to a condition where they're not usable anymore, there's probably two options available. One is to replace it with a newer battery or a new battery, which would be probably fairly costly depending on what kind of battery you put into it. Or you can, again, sell it for pieces or for scrap for parts. And I would only suggest that if you've got a vehicle that's, in this age range, that's, you bought it maybe when it's 12 years old, and then by the time it starts to need some additional repair or maintenance, it's 15 to 20 years old. And at that point, then it's a decision whether or not just to spend another $5,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 on another vehicle and use that instead. If you haven't seen any of my other videos about this vehicle, I have done a couple other videos as well. One of them was a range test, and another one was a discussion about the value of a used electric vehicle. And I also did a tour of this vehicle as well, so you can look for those on my channel. If there's any other different experiments or information you'd want to know about a used electric vehicle, let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to know what other things you'd like me to do with this vehicle. In the meantime, it seems to be serving my needs very well, so I'll continue driving it until I come across my next EV, and we'll bring it to the channel as well. Also, coming up in my future videos is I did show you 3 different vehicles that brought us back to the year 2012, back to the original electric vehicles that were starting off the more recent phase of electric vehicles. And one of them was a Mitsubishi i-MiEV, and that's going to be coming up on my channel soon. I'll be riding that vehicle, giving a tour of it, and showing its condition now that it is 12 years old as well. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it, and consider subscribing for future videos. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.